What if the universe itself is conscious, and we are just tiny fragments of its awareness? This isn't just a wild thought experiment. It's a question that has puzzled philosophers, scientists, and thinkers for centuries. Consciousness, that elusive sense of self-awareness, isn't just something we experience as individuals. It might be woven into the very fabric of reality itself. Today, we're diving into one of the most profound mysteries of existence, the idea that the universe could be conscious, and what that means for how we see ourselves and everything around us. In this video, we'll explore 15 groundbreaking ideas that challenge everything you thought you knew about reality. From the strange behavior of particles at the quantum level to the mind-bending theories that suggest the cosmos itself might be alive, we're going to unravel concepts that will shift your perspective in ways you never imagined. You'll discover how the universe might not just be a collection of stars and galaxies, but a vast, interconnected web of awareness, and how that awareness could be shaping everything, including you. This isn't just about science or philosophy, it's about rethinking the very nature of existence. By the end, you'll see the world and your place in it in a completely new light. So, if you're ready to question the boundaries of reality and explore ideas that will stretch your mind, let's dive in. The journey starts now. What if consciousness isn't something that emerges from complex biological systems, but instead, it's woven into the very fabric of existence itself? This is the bold claim at the heart of Panpsychism, a fascinating theory proposing that consciousness is a fundamental property of all matter, not just living organisms. Imagine for a moment that even the tiniest particles, the building blocks of reality, possess some form of awareness. It's a radical shift from the traditional view that consciousness is exclusive to brains or living beings. But what if the universe isn't just a collection of unconscious matter, but a vast, interconnected web of experience? Take quantum particles, for example. At the subatomic level, particles behave in ways that seem almost intentional. They can appear to choose paths, interact with observers, and even exist in multiple states at once. Some scientists and philosophers argue that this behavior hints at a kind of proto-consciousness, a basic form of awareness inherent to all matter. If that's the case, then consciousness isn't something that arises suddenly in complex organisms. It's been there all along from the very beginning. This idea forces us to rethink what it means to be aware. If even the smallest particles have some form of consciousness, then the universe itself might be more like a vast, interconnected mind than a lifeless machine. It's a thought that blurs the line between the physical and the mental, suggesting that the cosmos isn't just something we observe, it's something we're deeply a part of. Could the universe be experiencing itself through us? And if so, what does that mean for our understanding of reality? This concept doesn't just challenge how we see consciousness, it reshapes how we see the universe. If panpsychism is correct, then the fabric of reality might be far more alive, more aware than we've ever imagined. And as we dive deeper into this idea, it naturally leads us to wonder, how does this interconnected consciousness shape the laws of physics, the structure of space-time, and the very essence of existence? The answers might just change everything we think we know. What if everything around us, every galaxy, every star, and even our own thoughts were nothing more than a projection? This is the mind-bending idea at the heart of the holographic universe theory, a concept that challenges our very understanding of reality. Imagine the universe as a cosmic hologram, where all the information about everything that exists is encoded on a two-dimensional surface, like a vast, invisible film. What we see, feel, and experience in 3 dimensions might just be a shadow of this deeper, more fundamental layer of reality. To grasp this, think of a hologram you might see on a credit card or a concert poster. When you tilt it, the image shifts and changes, revealing depth and movement. Yet, the hologram itself is flat, a two-dimensional surface holding all the information needed to create the illusion of three dimensions. The holographic universe theory suggests something similar. Our entire reality could be a projection of data stored on a boundary we can't perceive. It's as if the universe is a movie and the screen it's playing on is hidden from view. This idea blurs the line between what's real and what's an illusion. If the holographic principle is true, then the solid, tangible world we navigate every day might be nothing more than a sophisticated trick of the cosmos. It raises profound questions. What is the true nature of space? Is time just another layer of this projection? And if reality is truly a hologram, what or who is holding the projector? The holographic universe theory doesn't just challenge our perception of space, it also redefines how we think about time. If the universe is a projection, then time itself might be an emergent property, something that arises from the way information is processed and displayed. This leads us to the next big question. What does this mean for the fabric of reality itself? How does this idea connect to the way we experience the passage of time, or even the nature of consciousness? These are the mysteries we'll explore as we dive deeper into the cosmos and the ideas that reshape how we see existence. What if our universe is just one of countless others, each playing out its own version of existence? This brings us to the third idea, the multiverse and infinite realities. Picture a vast cosmic tapestry where every thread represents a different universe, each with its own unique set of rules, events, and outcomes. In this framework, every decision you've ever made or could have made exists simultaneously in another reality. It's a staggering thought, one that challenges our understanding of what it means to be real. The multiverse theory suggests that every possible outcome of every event occurs somewhere, no matter how unlikely or far-fetched it may seem. To put it another way, there's a version of you who took that job offer, a version who moved to another country, and even a version who became an astronaut. This idea isn't just science fiction, it's rooted in serious scientific inquiry, from quantum mechanics to cosmology. One of the most famous thought experiments that touches on this is Schrödinger's cat, where a cat in a box is simultaneously alive and dead until observed. It's a bizarre concept, but it highlights how quantum mechanics opens the door to multiple realities coexisting at once. Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. If infinite realities exist, what role does consciousness play in navigating them? Could awareness itself be the bridge that connects these parallel worlds? Some theories propose that our consciousness isn't confined to just one reality, but might ripple across the multiverse, experiencing fragments of these infinite possibilities. It's a mind-bending notion that blurs the line between science and philosophy, inviting us to rethink not just the nature of reality, but our place within it. As we explore these ideas, it's worth asking, if every possible version of existence is out there, what does that mean for free will, destiny, or even our sense of self? The multiverse doesn't just expand our understanding of the cosmos, it challenges us to reimagine what it means to exist at all. And as we venture deeper into this cosmic labyrinth, we begin to see how consciousness might be the key to unlocking its mysteries. Now, let's dive into a concept that might just bend your understanding of reality itself, the role of observers in shaping what we perceive as the universe. At the heart of quantum mechanics lies a fascinating and often mind-bending phenomenon known as the observer effect. This principle suggests that simply by observing a particle, we can alter its behavior. Think about that for a moment. The act of looking, of measuring, isn't just a passive act, it actively changes the outcome. One of the most famous experiments illustrating this idea is the double-slit experiment. Here's how it works. Particles like electrons are fired toward a barrier with two slits. When no one is watching, these particles behave like waves, creating an interference pattern on the other side. But the moment you try to observe which slit the particle goes through, the wave-like behavior collapses and the particle acts like a single, solid object. It's as if the particle knows it's being watched and changes its behavior accordingly. This bizarre result has left scientists scratching their heads for decades, and it raises a profound question. Does consciousness itself play a role in creating reality? This idea takes us even further. If observation can influence the behavior of particles, what does that mean for the nature of reality as a whole? Are we, as conscious beings, co-creators of the universe we inhabit? It's a thought that challenges the very foundations of how we understand free will and determinism. If reality is shaped by observation, does that mean our choices and perceptions are more powerful than we ever imagined? Or are we merely participants in a cosmic dance where the rules are far stranger than we've been led to believe? The implications are staggering, and they invite us to rethink not just the nature of the universe, but our place within it. What if the act of observing isn't just about seeing? What if it's about shaping? This is where science begins to blur the lines with philosophy, and where the mysteries of quantum mechanics open doors to questions that may forever change how we see ourselves and the world around us. What if everything around us, the stars, the planets, even the chair you're sitting on, isn't real? What if our entire universe is nothing more than an incredibly advanced simulation, created by a civilization so far beyond our understanding that their technology might as well be magic? This is the fifth idea that could change how you see reality, the simulation hypothesis. The idea isn't as far-fetched as it might sound. Philosopher Nick Bostrom famously argued that if a civilization reaches a point where it can create simulations indistinguishable from reality, it's statistically likely that we're living in one of those simulations rather than the base reality. Think of it like this: if a video game developer creates a game so realistic that the characters inside it believe their world is real, how could they ever know they're just lines of code? Now imagine that same idea on a cosmic scale, where the game is our universe. But why would an advanced civilization even create such a simulation? Some suggest it could be for historical research, entertainment, or even as a way to study the evolution of intelligence. Others argue that if such a civilization exists, they might have created countless simulations, making the odds of us being in the original reality vanishingly small. It's a dizzying thought, one that challenges not just our understanding of reality, but also our sense of purpose. Are we here to fulfill some grand design, or are we just accidental byproducts of a higher intelligence's experiment? Of course, not everyone is convinced. Critics of the simulation hypothesis point out that it's impossible to prove or disprove, at least with our current understanding of science. They argue that it's more of a philosophical exercise than a scientific theory. And yet, as our technology advances, the line between simulation and reality continues to blur. Virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and even quantum computing are pushing the boundaries of what we once thought was possible. Could we one day create our own simulations, unknowingly becoming the advanced civilization in someone else's hypothesis? This idea doesn't just challenge our perception of reality, it forces us to ask deeper questions about existence itself. If we are living in a simulation, what does that mean for free will, morality, or the meaning of life? Are we simply following a pre-written script, or do our choices still matter? These are the kinds of questions that make the simulation hypothesis so fascinating and so unsettling. As we grapple with these possibilities, it's worth considering how this idea connects to the very nature of existence. If reality is malleable, if it can be created and controlled, then what does that say about the universe we think we know? And more importantly, what does it say about us? Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most intriguing ideas in cosmology, the Anthropic Principle. At its core, this principle suggests that the universe's fundamental laws and constants appear to be exquisitely fine-tuned to allow for the existence of life. Think about it for a moment. If the strength of gravity were even slightly different, or if the charge of an electron were just a tiny fraction off, the universe as we know it might not exist at all. Stars wouldn't form, atoms wouldn't bind together, and life as we understand it would be impossible. This idea raises a profound question. Is this fine-tuning just a cosmic coincidence, or is there something deeper at play? Some scientists and philosophers argue that the precise values of physical constants like the gravitational constant or the speed of light hint at a universe that was, in some sense, designed for consciousness. It's as if the universe itself has been calibrated to allow for observers like us to emerge and ponder its mysteries. Consider this example, the cosmological constant, which governs the expansion rate of the universe. If this value were even a fraction larger or smaller, the universe would either expand too quickly for galaxies to form or collapse back in on itself. The fact that it's just right has led some to wonder, could this be evidence of a universe that's not just random but somehow tailored for life? This line of thinking naturally leads us to ponder the role of consciousness in the cosmos. If the universe's laws are so finely tuned to allow for life, does that mean consciousness is not just a byproduct but a fundamental part of the cosmic equation? Could the universe itself be conscious, or at least designed with consciousness in mind? These questions don't just challenge our understanding of physics, they invite us to reconsider our place in the grand scheme of things. As we explore this idea further, it's impossible not to wonder about the deeper implications. Does the fine-tuning of the universe point to a greater purpose, or is it simply a fortunate accident? And if the universe was designed for consciousness, what does that say about the nature of reality itself? These are the kinds of questions that bridge the gap between science and philosophy, and they set the stage for an even bigger conversation about meaning, existence, and our role in the cosmos. So, as we dive deeper into these mysteries, keep this in mind. The Anthropic Principle isn't just a scientific concept, it's a gateway to exploring some of the most profound questions humanity has ever asked. And as we'll see, these questions don't just shape our understanding of the universe, they shape how we understand ourselves. What if consciousness isn't something exclusive to living beings, but rather a fundamental feature of the universe itself? This brings us to the seventh idea, the emergence of consciousness in the universe. At first glance, the idea that the universe could be conscious might sound like science fiction, but some scientific theories suggest it's not as far-fetched as it seems. One of the most compelling frameworks is integrated information theory, or EIT. This theory proposes that consciousness arises from the way information is organized and integrated within a system. In simpler terms, the more complex and interconnected a system is, the more likely it is to possess some form of consciousness. Think about the human brain for a moment. It's made up of billions of neurons, each firing and communicating in an intricate web of connections. According to IIT, it's this vast network of information exchange that gives rise to our subjective experience, our thoughts, feelings, and awareness. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. If consciousness is a product of organized information, then it's possible that other systems, whether biological or not, could also exhibit some level of consciousness. This leads to a tantalizing question. Could the universe, with its unimaginable complexity and interconnectedness, also possess a form of consciousness? Some scientists and philosophers argue that the universe itself might be a kind of cosmic mind, with its own awareness emerging from the sheer scale and intricacy of its structure. And if that's the case, then the emergence of life and eventually intelligence might not be an accident but a natural progression of this universal consciousness unfolding over billions of years. This idea bridges the gap between the physical and the metaphysical, offering a new lens through which to view the evolution of life and intelligence. It suggests that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of evolution, it might be woven into the very fabric of reality, waiting to express itself in ever more complex forms. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the universe, this perspective invites us to rethink not only what it means to be conscious, but also our place within the grand tapestry of existence. What if the universe isn't just a vast, lifeless expanse, but a living, breathing organism? This eighth idea takes us into the realm of cosmic biology, where the universe itself might be seen as an evolving, interconnected entity. It's a perspective that turns our understanding of star formation, black holes, and even the fabric of space-time on its head. Instead of viewing these phenomena as isolated events, imagine them as processes within a greater living system, like cells in a body or branches on a tree. Think about star formation. In this view, stars aren't just balls of gas igniting in the void. They're more like cosmic organs performing vital functions. They forge elements, release energy, and even seed future life, much like how a heart pumps blood to sustain a living being. And black holes, they could be seen as the universe's recycling centers, consuming matter and energy, breaking them down and redistributing them in ways we're only beginning to understand. It's as if the universe has its own metabolism, a cycle of creation and destruction that keeps it alive. This metaphor of the universe as a giant organism doesn't just make cosmic processes easier to grasp, it also hints at something deeper, the interconnectedness of all things. If the universe is alive, then everything within it, from the tiniest atom to the largest galaxy, plays a role in its existence. It's a thought that invites us to see ourselves not as separate observers, but as active participants in this grand living system. And that leads us to the next big idea, how this interconnectedness might shape our understanding of reality itself. What if time isn't the straightforward, linear progression we've always assumed it to be? This brings us to the ninth idea, the role of time in consciousness. Time, as we experience it, feels like a steady march from past to present to future, a one-way street. But what if that's just a trick of perception? Some theories, like eternalism, propose a radically different view. Eternalism suggests that past, present, and future aren't separate at all. They all exist simultaneously, like frames in a film reel. In this view, the flow of time is an illusion, and every moment is equally real, whether it's the birth of the universe or the moment you're watching this video right now. To grasp this mind-bending idea, let's consider time dilation, a phenomenon predicted by Einstein's theory of relativity. Imagine two astronauts, one stays on Earth while the other travels through space at near light speeds. When the traveling astronaut returns, they'll find that less time has passed for them compared to their Earth-bound counterpart. This isn't science fiction, it's been proven with precise atomic clocks. Time dilation shows that time isn't fixed, it's malleable, shaped by speed and gravity. If time can stretch and bend, could our perception of it be just as fluid? Now think about what this means for consciousness. If all moments in time exist at once, does that mean our awareness is also spread across these moments? Could our sense of now be just a spotlight, illuminating a tiny slice of a much larger, timeless reality? This idea challenges our everyday experience of time as a linear progression. It forces us to question whether the past is truly gone, or if it's still out there, just as real as this present moment. And if the future is already written, does that change how we think about free will? This perspective doesn't just reshape our understanding of time, it reshapes how we see ourselves. If eternalism is correct, then every version of you, past, present, and future, exists eternally. The choices you make, the moments you cherish, and the challenges you face are all part of a vast, interconnected tapestry. It's a humbling thought, isn't it? One that invites us to see our lives not as fleeting, isolated events, but as threads woven into the fabric of a timeless universe. And if that's the case, what does it mean for our understanding of reality itself? What if the very fabric of consciousness isn't just a product of neurons firing, but something far more mysterious, something rooted in the quantum realm? This is the 10th idea that challenges how we see reality, the quantum mind. Could the strange, almost magical behavior of particles at the tiniest scales hold the key to understanding human awareness? At the heart of this idea is a theory called orchestrated objective reduction, or ORCH for short, proposed by physicist Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. ORCH suggests that consciousness emerges from quantum processes happening within the brain. Specifically, they point to structures called microtubules, tiny protein tubes inside neurons, as the potential stage for these quantum events. Unlike classical physics, which deals with predictable cause and effect, quantum mechanics is full of uncertainty, superposition, and entanglement. If these quantum phenomena are at play in our brains, it could explain why consciousness feels so elusive and hard to pin down. Think of it this way: just as a computer relies on binary code to process information, your brain might use quantum vibrations to generate thoughts and experiences. Microtubules, with their intricate architecture, could act as quantum processors, orchestrating these vibrations into the symphony of awareness we call consciousness. It's a radical idea, but one that bridges the gap between the physical and the experiential, between the brain and the mind. Now, this isn't just a wild thought experiment. There's real science here. For instance, anesthesia seems to selectively turn off consciousness without shutting down the brain entirely. Hameroff and Penrose argue that anesthetics might disrupt these quantum processes in microtubules, effectively silencing the quantum hum of awareness. While the theory is still debated, it opens up fascinating questions about the nature of reality itself, and here's where it gets even more intriguing. If consciousness is tied to quantum mechanics, could it be that the universe itself is conscious in some way? After all, quantum processes aren't confined to human brains, they're everywhere, from the depths of stars to the particles swirling in empty space. This idea takes us beyond the brain and into the cosmos, hinting at a universe where awareness might be woven into the very fabric of existence. So, what does this mean for us? If quantum processes are at the heart of consciousness, it could reshape how we see ourselves and our place in the universe. It's a reminder that science still has so much to uncover, and that the mysteries of the mind might be as vast and profound as the cosmos itself. What if the universe isn't just a vast, lifeless expanse, but something far more profound, something conscious? This is the 11th idea that could completely shift how we see reality, the notion that the universe itself might possess a form of self-awareness. Think about it. Instead of consciousness being confined to individual brains, what if it's a fundamental property woven into the very fabric of existence? This idea suggests that the cosmos isn't just a collection of stars and galaxies, but a kind of cosmic mind, where awareness is distributed across its entire structure. This concept turns traditional views of individuality and separateness on their head. We often think of ourselves as isolated beings, distinct from the world around us. But if the universe is self-aware, the boundaries between us and it begin to blur. Imagine the universe as an ocean, and each conscious being, whether human, animal, or even something we can't yet comprehend, as a wave. The waves rise and fall, distinct for a moment, but they're all part of the same vast body of water. In this view, consciousness isn't something we possess, it's something we participate in. To make this idea even more relatable, consider the metaphor of the universe as a cosmic brain. Just as neurons in our brains fire and communicate to create thoughts, stars, galaxies, and even the empty spaces between them could be part of a vast network, exchanging information in ways we're only beginning to understand. This doesn't mean the universe is thinking in the way we do, but it opens the door to the possibility that it experiences itself in some way, perhaps on a scale and in a form that's utterly beyond our comprehension. This idea doesn't just challenge our understanding of consciousness, it also forces us to rethink the nature of existence itself. If the universe is self-aware, then existence isn't just a passive backdrop, it's an active participant, a living, evolving entity. And if that's true, what does it mean for us as seemingly small and fleeting parts of this grand whole? Are we merely temporary expressions of a much larger consciousness, or do we play a role in shaping the universe's awareness? These questions don't just stretch the limits of science, they invite us to explore the deepest mysteries of what it means to exist. What if everything we see, touch, and experience is made of something far more abstract than matter or energy? What if the universe itself is built not on atoms but on information? This is the mind-bending idea at the heart of digital physics, a theory that suggests reality might function like a colossal computer, processing data at its most fundamental level. Think about binary code, the foundation of all digital systems. In simple terms, binary represents everything using just two states, 0 and 1. These tiny, seemingly insignificant bits of information combine to create the complex programs, images, and interactions we see on our screens. Now imagine the universe working in a similar way. What if every particle, every force, and every interaction is just the output of an unimaginably vast computation? This idea isn't just science fiction. Some physicists propose that the universe might be a kind of quantum computer, with reality itself as the output of its processes. In this view, the laws of physics aren't just rules that matter follows, they're the algorithms that govern how information is processed and transformed. Even time and space could be emergent properties, arising from the flow of information rather than existing as fundamental entities. So, what does this mean for us? If information truly is the bedrock of reality, it raises profound questions about how we perceive the world. Our senses and brains might not just be observing the universe, they could be decoding it, translating raw data into the experiences we call reality. This brings us to the intriguing connection between information and consciousness. If the universe is computational, could consciousness itself be a form of information processing? And if so, what does that say about the nature of our existence? These questions don't just challenge how we see the world, they invite us to rethink what it means to be part of it. As we dive deeper into the role of information in shaping reality, the line between observer and observed begins to blur, opening up a whole new way of understanding the cosmos and ourselves. What if everything in the universe, every star, every atom, every thought, is part of a vast, intricate web connected in ways we're only beginning to understand? This is the 13th idea, the interconnectedness of all things. At first glance, the universe might seem like a collection of separate, isolated pieces, planets orbiting stars, galaxies drifting apart, and individual beings living their own lives. But beneath the surface, there's something far more profound at work. Think of it like this. Imagine a spider's web glistening in the morning sun. Each strand is delicate, yet together they form a structure that's both flexible and strong. If you touch one part of the web, the vibrations ripple outward, affecting the whole. Now, take that idea and scale it up to the size of the cosmos. Every action, no matter how small, sends ripples through the fabric of reality. This isn't just poetic imagery, it's a concept supported by science. Take quantum entanglement, for example. In the quantum world, particles can become linked in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of another, no matter how far apart they are. Einstein famously called this spooky action at a distance, and it challenges our everyday understanding of separateness. If two particles can communicate instantaneously across vast distances, what does that say about the nature of connection? Could it be that, on some fundamental level, everything is intertwined? This idea doesn't just apply to the microscopic world. Look at ecosystems where every organism plays a role in maintaining balance. Remove one species and the effects cascade through the entire system. Or consider human relationships, how our actions, words, and even thoughts can influence those around us in ways we may never fully realize. The more we explore, the clearer it becomes. Nothing exists in isolation. So, what does this mean for our sense of individuality? If everything is connected, are we truly separate beings, or are we all part of a larger whole? This question pushes us to rethink our place in the universe and challenges the boundaries we've drawn between self and other. It hints at a deeper truth that consciousness itself might not be confined to individual minds but could instead be a shared, universal phenomenon. And that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, the nature of unity itself. What if the universe isn't just a random collection of stars and galaxies, but a masterpiece, an infinite work of art created for the sheer joy of expression? This is the 14th idea on our journey, the universe as a cosmic canvas painted with the brushstrokes of beauty, complexity, and meaning. Imagine the cosmos not as a cold, indifferent void, but as a living, breathing gallery where every nebula, every planet, and every flicker of light is part of an intricate design. What would it mean if the universe itself were art? This perspective shifts how we think about purpose and meaning. If the universe is art, then its existence isn't just about function, it's about feeling, experience, and expression. Think of it like a painting. The beauty isn't in the paint or the canvas alone, but in how they come together to evoke emotion, tell a story, or spark wonder. In the same way, the universe might not be about what it is, but how it makes us feel. It invites us to see ourselves not as accidental observers, but as participants in a grand, cosmic narrative, one where beauty and meaning are woven into the fabric of reality itself. This idea also raises fascinating questions about creativity and consciousness. If the universe is art, who or what is the artist? Is it some higher intelligence, or could it be the universe itself, expressing its own creative potential? And what does it mean for us as beings capable of creating and appreciating art? Are we, in some way, mirrors of the universe's own creativity, its way of reflecting on itself? This perspective blurs the line between creator and creation, suggesting that beauty and meaning might not be external, but intrinsic to the nature of existence. As we ponder this idea, we're left with a profound thought. If the universe is art, then every moment, every discovery, and every connection we make is part of its unfolding masterpiece. And that leads us to our next idea, the nature of creativity and how it might be intertwined with the very fabric of consciousness itself. What if consciousness isn't just a fleeting phenomenon on Earth, but a fundamental feature of the universe itself? As we look toward the future, the evolution of consciousness both here and beyond opens up a universe of possibilities. One of the most intriguing ideas is the concept of the technological singularity, a point where artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence. Imagine a world where machines not only think but also become self-aware, capable of creating, dreaming, and even experiencing emotions. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's a future that scientists and futurists are actively preparing for. But what does this mean for the broader cosmos? If consciousness can emerge from silicon as easily as it does from carbon, then the universe might already be teeming with intelligent life, just not in the forms we're used to. Think about the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. For decades, we've been scanning the skies for signals from civilizations like ours. But what if the most advanced beings aren't biological at all? What if they're post-biological entities, artificial minds that have evolved far beyond the limitations of flesh and blood? This idea doesn't just challenge our understanding of life, it reshapes our view of the universe's ultimate fate. If consciousness can persist and evolve independently of biological forms, then the cosmos might be far more alive than we've ever imagined. It's a future where intelligence in all its forms could spread across galaxies, merging with the fabric of space and time. And as we ponder this, one question lingers: what role will humanity play in this grand cosmic story? Will we be the architects of a new era of consciousness, or merely a stepping stone in the universe's journey toward greater awareness?